Yo, welcome back to some Mabinogi. Dark winds of winter time, some cold wind, whatever. It's essentially cold that's causing people to go into this coma-like state, like Sleeping Beauty disease, except it's caused by the deer. What the hell is that? Well, it looks like the boy woke up, the younger brother. I'm fine. Stop it. You're embarrassing me. Are you sure you're alright? Really sure? Sign, look at you. Your hair's a complete mess. The two children who were unconscious before seems to be awake and arguing now. Nora will be able to catch you up on what's happening. Okay. They share the same dialogue. Nora. You picked the perfect time to arrive, Ursulith. Remember that unconscious boy who was resting here? Well, while you were gone, he finally woke up. He's been lying there, still as a stone, so you can imagine my surprise when I was tidying up the room and saw him staring out of the corner of my eye. He seems confused and disoriented at first, asking me who I am and where he was. So I sat with him and tried to put him at ease. It seems to me that some fresh air might help him clear his head, so I brought him outside. You know, now that I see the two of them together, I wonder if these two are kids or siblings. They really share a resemblance, don't you think? The boy and the girl who were unconscious are now awake and chatting animatedly with each other. Talk to them and see if you can learn more about what happened. I'm telling you, sis, I just had to do it. I heard if you can find an earring on one of the snowmen, you'll be able to become a hero. Oh my god, G1 callback. Are you kidding me? Even if it was true, then why you just leave me behind and run off like that? I told you, you need to stay close and hold my hand. Seems the two are actually siblings. As you listen to them bicker, the young boy notices you approach. Who's this? Do you know them? Don't be so rude. They're the one who saved me. I'm really sorry about this. I swear I can't take him anywhere. Thanks for saving my sister. Even she sounds more like my mom right now. Why would you want to talk to me? Tell him you saved them too. You tell the boy you found him unconscious on the ground and move him to the inn. All that happened and I didn't even know it? I guess I gotta say thank you again to you and everyone else. Oh, I just remember what I was doing before and some other weird stuff. I ran out of the village because I went to find the snowman with the earring. My sis was with me at start, but I ran ahead and lost her. Then I saw this group of foxes just past the healer's house, and so I wanted to see what they were doing. That was when I saw this huge animal, kind of like a deer. It stretched its head low until it touched one of the foxes, and then I saw the fox fall down. That really surprised me, and then the deer raised his head and looked right at me. Came running over. It happened really quick, and then comes the stuff that's harder to remember. It's kind of like I was dreaming. I dreamed I was some kind of stick. Yeah, like a long... Oh my god, is it turning their consciousness into logs? Firewood? And that lady is... Well, that old lady is like burning the firewood made of memory or consciousness? Maybe it's their soul. What the hell? I had other sticks with me and we were all friends, so it wasn't lonely. But the floor kept shaking and we bumped and tumbled over each other. It was kind of fun. So I was a stick and I was zooming around like, is there a faster way to move than running? Sprinting? Flying? No, it was even faster than those. Like, you get ready to run and then you don't even move and boom, you're there. You mean like teleporting? What are you talking about? I know you got attention span of a gnat sometimes, but at least try to make sense when someone's asking you a question. No, that's right. It was like teleporting with magic. I was popping in and out of all sort of places. It was totally cool. Oh, and I remember some place that was really, really cold. I don't know where. But all my stick friends went there without me. I can't remember. I got ditched like that. Damn, that sucks. So, the other kids are dead? Since it felt like a dream, it kind of foggy and I don't remember it really well. But it's true. Then the next thing I knew, I woke up in bed in the inn. Oh, so it's probably that same deer. And because we got his stick back, and we burned it, their consciousness came back. Because it kind of, the way she was looks like she was having a seizure, maybe her soul came back to her body and that's why she was flopping about. You've spoken with heroes, magistrate, and deities, but somehow this child is harder to follow than any of them. From what you glean, he seems to be saying that the deer turned him into a piece of firewood and then teleported all over. Almost sounded like the deer was going around trying to gather souls by turning to firewood. Yes, I was right. He really likes talking to anyone who will listen. You don't have to listen to him ramble on and on. Hey, no, I don't. I'm done talking. Goodbye. Wait, what? You're just saying goodbye out of nowhere like that, especially when you're not even leaving? The boy's sister seemed flustered by the spontaneous comment. Perhaps it would be worth talking with her. I'm so sorry. My brother, well, he talks to everyone the same way. I hope he didn't upset you. Thank you so much for taking care of him. He probably is a bit easier to handle when he's out cold, isn't he? Well, now that I finally found him, it's long past time we headed home. Mother and father must be worried sick, wondering where we gone. My brother's the sort of kid who can get so wound up and that he practically doesn't feel pain when he's excited. So that's the first thing I do when we get back is look him over and to make sure he's not hurt. You're one of those Malaysians, aren't you? Thank you so much for taking the time to help us. Oh, and tell Chief Duncan thanks too. You really look like you're gone through a lot, so I hope you can get some rest now. No one deserves that more than you. Goodbye now. I hope we meet again someday. I hope we do not meet again. I hope you guys live a peaceful life and I don't have to come to rescue you guys. Send me a letter, you know, to see how you guys are doing. Maybe when you're grown up and have a family or something. The girl holds her brother by the hand as the two walk down the road towards their home. Go see Duncan and tell him both of the town's unconscious guests have been awakened. What the hell? Oh. Is that giant Inanna always there? Huh. Never noticed that. An elderly man. Okay. Ursula, I was just about to send a Malaysian man out to meet you. Has something happened? Explain what happened. Tell Duncan about how starting the campfire somehow awakened both the girl and the young boy from before, and relates to him what the boy told you about his experience. Goodness, is that true? It sounds so fantastical. I can scarcely believe it. To think that a person's very soul could be transformed into a simple piece of firewood. You know, with the cold wind blowing to the village, that strange steer and now the firewood, I actually am reminding of something. An old tale, one from Grandma? One I heard a long time ago. Though there are some things about our present circumstance that even this won't account for. If indeed it accounts by anything at all. That was rather long preamble, but have you ever heard of the name Kalek? Probably doesn't ring any bells, does it? I doubt it would for most. Kalek is the god of northern winds, and to her sacred deer she gives the task of gathering firewood to burn. 'Tis she who is said to send the cold winds down from the mountain each winter. If you ever read the book, the Tier Canal Environ, I believe it makes mention of her. Now Kalek may be a god of northern winds, but the folklore also ascribes her some dominion over time and season. Amongst her role is the gathering up of time has passed, spent days of each year to burn in her fire. In the old legends, Kalek goes around gathering firewood to feed her hearth over the course of winter. The story goes that the more wood she collects, the longer winter will be that year. And the wood Kalek burns, as I mentioned, represents the time that has gone by through spring, summer, and autumn. The task of gathering this fuel is carried out by the deer who serves Kalek, and it was after you first told me of the strange deer that I recalled this old legend. But here's where the reality seems to depart from the myth, and it tells Kalek's influence is limited to the winter. No matter how much wood Kalek gathers, there has never been any telling of the stories where she would send forth her frigid winds out of season, as we're experiencing right now. And all that Kalek burns is the wood that represents the old year. She has never been known to cause harm to anyone in gathering her fuel. I now strongly suspect that Kalek, or some entity like her, has had a hand in these events. But if it truly is Kalek of legend, then her nature has grown different from everything mankind has known of her up to now. I know not what this portends, but I would bid you to be conscious. But you can rest assured this, at least we had no signs of that deer since then. The chill is still hanging over the countryside, but that's nothing we can handle with a few extra blankets and a healthy stocks of firewood. At least we found a way to wake those children, and that takes the greatest burden off my heart. That's all I can say for now. Stay safe out there, and for goodness sake, bundle up. You ended your conversation with Duncan. So why is she doing this? She said the end is near, and she's gathering all these soul wood. Maybe she wants to get free? Are you the last one? I thought one more had made the journey with you. They must have been waylaid. Tis, well, in no matters, the work is almost complete. You have done your part well, my child. You are dismissed. Man, those deer look really cool. Go on and rest. I have finished giving shape to my world. Is he trying to make a reality marble? And within this domain, my will shall hold sway over all. So she's trying to... Okay, so the end is near, is when she's almost done with her goal. Well... Oh, this cat woke up. I'm guessing we burned the firewood, so that's 3. The cat, the girl, and the boy. So she wants her own world? Doesn't she already has her own zone right there with the campfire? What's she trying to do? Oh hey, that looks like Zelda. You gotta change channel.
묘지를 너무 오랫동안 그대. 묘지를 너무 오랫동안.
No, I don't want the Albin Night box. A flame of burning coal. Talk to Layer in the Arcana Association. Is this part of the quest? Hold on, let me look this up. Alright, so I looked it up. It is part of the same quest. Okay, because I was afraid I was starting something else.
하루하루가 평화롭긴 한데.
Ah, there you are, Ursuf. I've been waiting for you. I heard that you've been busy looking into that business with the strange blue deer. It's fortunate that not too many more incidents have been reported, but all the same, I worry about you overextending yourself with the litany of tasks you have take on. I like to get Arcana into people's hands as soon as we can, precisely because of things like this. You may be wondering why our association didn't involve itself with the investigation. The unfortunate truth is that it's difficult for the Arcana Association to involve itself in external matter, at least as we are right now. We're a fledgling organization without any major achievement to our name, and without a good reputation or list of accomplishments to lean on, it'll be difficult to simply appear on the scene and offer our help. That's nothing you need to worry about yourself, though. You're a great help in our ongoing research and development of Arcana. As the person in charge, the administrative duty rests on my shoulders. Layer smiles, setting down the paper he was holding. Anyways, I called you here for 2 reasons. First is to remind you to keep putting your Arcana through their paces. The second is that I want to let you know that I now fully prepare my hypothesis on how we might strengthen Arcana links beyond their current limit. Considering the properties of Smoldering Dead, our base reinforcement material of choice, I figure it would be wise to request your help. But before we jump into the thick of it, I want to check in with you about your experience with Arcana. Have you gotten used to using them? Does it come more or less naturally now? Yep. And that's good to hear. Anyways, a positive sign when the product lives up to the hype. And if you're pleased with the benefit, so am I. And who knows, they might even prove vital for whatever the future has in store for you. I'll keep on my research in the hopes that we can fulfill the promise of Arcana as a source of strength for everyone. Anyways, let's move along to the hypothesis I spoke of earlier. Actually, before I do that, would you mind if I tidy up the room a bit? Just hit me how cluttered it got while I've been absorbed in my research. There should only take a few minutes. Sure thing. Excellent, I promise I'll make it quick. Alright. I asked our colleagues to help me gather a few things I need, so I'm the only one here at the moment. That is, however, partially by design. Admittedly, I would feel more comfortable sharing my recent research with the other ones, once we finally have a foundation more suitable than just my theory and postulation. Having accurate records and proven information not only makes it easier to guide the discussion, it also serves to establish trustworthiness. As a person heading up this association, I consider it vital to build such trust. Hold on, let me get a drink. My throat is getting itchy from so much reading. Okay. As a person heading this association, I consider it vital to build such trust. Layer laughs as only the truly exhausted can as he approaches the enkindling lectern. What I'm about to tell you still belongs to the realm of pure conjecture. The reason I called you here was because, as someone who already putting our arcana research through its paces, I figured there was no one better than you to advise me on how I might best prove this hypothesis. Also, depending on what we discover, I may require your assistance in a more physical capacity. Now, according to my hypothesis, once you advance your arcana links to the 5th stage, you will find yourself unable to enhance your crest any further. For reasons yet unknown, the crest cannot be further improved with the method we presently have at our disposal. First off, how did you even find out there is a limit to 5? Like, I feel like that's metagaming. And like, how do we even know if there's like a level limit or a link limit, you know? I feel like it's just like a muscle. You train, the more you work on it, the better, the more like the stronger it gets, right? It's like practicing. It's like, damn, what's the phrase from Bruce Lee? I don't fear the man that practiced 1,000 punch. I fear the man that has practiced the 1 punch 1,000 times, right? That voice crack. So I figure it was like something like that. Where the more we work on it, the stronger it gets. Does that mean we reach the end? The arcana can never grow beyond the stage? Well, if that's the conclusion we reach, we might as well close up shop here. Tell the queen we're terribly sorry. We can only accomplish this much and go home. What are you talking about? There's like so many different arcanas. I certainly don't intend to hang it up without trying anything and everything I can't think of. I suspect you feel the same. That'd be like being at link 10 and being like, there's surely a limit past this link 10 to go beyond. Finding a way to push the ceiling and help the crest grow to a new level of complexity. Now, Ursula, if you recall, there was a reason that when I first saw a way to bolster the Arcana quest, I looked for a substance that took the form of flame. Do you happen to remember why that was? Of course. When we found the association, I remember thinking that all the information must have been a bit much to take in, but I'm pleased to see that you remain a passionate student of Arcana. Makes me proud of what we've been able to accomplish. To give a brief summary, reason why we use the Scorching Crest to unlock Arcana links is firstly to expand the complexity of the design, which allows a greater amount of power to course through it. Second, but no less important, is that because I compare it to like a water hose or like a tube, a tunnel for a mana or something to course through more efficiently compared to like it being tightened, you know? How it can't push as much, and as you're opening nodes, it opens more, like it gets wider, and so it can move much more efficiently for the power. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But less of what it's bolstering the Arcana in this way that makes them safer to use. Towards the end, we look for substances capable of both containing energy and interacting with the intangible, something we can manipulate so that we could utilize it for our needs. What we ended up was with a flame seemingly weak and volatile, yet potent enough to catalyze change in Arcana. Now, you join me over here, Ursula. Okay. You may recall this familiar crest from our earlier research. Yep. Lair reaches into his pocket and pulls out the crinkled piece of paper with rough sketch of an Arcana crest. You remember seeing this image before, back when the association was being founded. Allow me to reference this figure as an example. Even if you reinforce your elemental night arcana to the 5th stage, the crest won't appear as complex as it does in the imagined render of it. The reason for that is as straight as you expect. While the application of Scorching Crest serves to reinforce the area of the arcana that sees heavier strain due to conducting larger amount of energy, there is still some basic structural limit on how much power can flow through the crest. When I realized that, my mind turned back to materials we use to reinforce the arcana. The smaller threads we weave into Scorching Crest eventually hit the point of diminishing returns. Due to the limitation of their element, in essence we may have done as much as we can do with the property of fire alone, so we need ice. So I'm guessing that's why it's connected to this story, because the winter and we need something cold. I spent a great deal of time pondering this without much to show for it until one day, happened upon a cat in front of the castle playing with the braided length of a cord. This one I had thought that we might be able to use something akin to braiding to achieve further arcana links. A braid, though made of individual strands, becomes something thicker and stronger. But in our case, a truly effective braid will require twisting together the threads we know with threads of some other type. And that's where I reached the point at which I realized I need your help. Smoldering threads have certain property characteristic that makes them ideal as a base material for augmenting arcana crests. In order to ensure capability with the reinforcement we already perform, any new material should ideally possess as many similarity attributes as possible to the smoldering threads array in use. One of the most convenient features of the smoldering threads is that due to your contact with the arcana flame, they're particularly drawn to you, like cat hair to my trousers. But beyond that, there are other properties to think of. Let's focus on the most elementary of them all, fire. That may sound like a random question, but what comes to mind when you think of fire? It's hot. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Light and heat. Transformation and conversion, pure energy. You apply that anything that is burn it, emit light and heat. Right, energy released via a burning takes one of those two forms. Moving along, if our goal is to reinforce arcana withstand with greater amount of power, what property, attribute, or elements do you think we possibly lack? Something hard and durable. So I feel like something hard and durable would be the choice. This is also good. I feel like, but this is like opposite. Properties element. Something more stable in form. I thought much does. Oh, they're all right answers. Okay. But when you think about it, it seems impossible, doesn't it? To find something that possesses all the qualities of smoldering thread while simultaneously being their opposite in many ways. It's as though we've been asked to find hot ice or a brooch that ornates yet understated. Huh. Sounds weird. But in truth, such paradoxical state of energy may not be so far-fetched as we might think. After all, the flame you found that we now use as a medium to augment arcana is one into which I could thrust my whole hand without risk of harm. And the item I just mentioned, by way of example, those do actually exist. And that's why, strange as it sounds, I think we should seek out this counterbalancing energy. You're giving me that look, but trust me, I'm almost certain in my right mind. The key point is that their substance possessing such a paradoxical combination of opposing quantity will almost certainly be so because it is acting upon by a powerful force in the environment. That being the case, I think our best chance to locate such a strange material would be in place where natural environments are either very hot or very cold. But since we discovered the flint that held the secret of smoldering thread in a volcanic area, which is about as hot as the environment gets, I would prefer to start our search investigating somewhere extremely cold. Unfortunately, even after poring over recent reports from the Geological Society, I haven't even found anything that would tip me off to the presence of noteworthy phenomenon. There are, however, two obvious regions colder than the rest. Science, Central, and Physics. True, Physics lies across the sea. I think investigating our continent-owned snowbound reaches would be a better choice for you. The village of Tirkanal is just south of the mountain, and I think prudent to begin our investigation there. See which locale knows. To that end, I think you are who is well known to the people there would fare far better than I in the gathering of information. It sounds like everyone is already on the edge, thanks to what happened with that strange deer. With the familiar face around, they at least feel like they could go about their normal lives while you're there conducting your search. Anyways, that's about the long and short of it. Head to Snatcha and search the surrounding mountain, anything that might meet the criteria we're looking for. Meanwhile, I need to arrange passage on a ship bound to Port Sela. If I handle the Physic region myself, that's one less for you to worry about. That's right. Thanks for helping me out, bro. My god, that's a lot of reading. Ah, good to see you, Ursula. Duncan greets you with a warm smile. Now, perhaps these old eyes deceive me, but might I have caught you in one of your less busy moments? Whenever I see you running to and fro, my heart swells with pride to see you involved. But sometimes I feel a twinge of guilt that anything I might ask of you just adds one more burden to the lot. I mean, I'm a hero, that's what I do, helping out people and saving the world. I can still remember the day you first showed up in Tier Canal, dressed like you, rolled out of bed and gripping your weapon with all the finesse of a sledgehammer. Ah, yes, the earlier days. Maybe that's why I feel a bit nostalgia when I see how far you come. Perhaps it's all due to the ruckus from the strange deer we had, but I've been recalling those times more often lately. Nothing you need to concern yourself with, just an old man thinking of days gone by. You have a way of showing up when there's some threat or problem to be dealt with, and I suppose I tend to think of you that way, even when you simply show up to say hello, as if anything else is going on. Duncan slowly shake his head in response to your question. Nothing of note has happened since that incident with the children and the deer, though when you ask like that, I don't know where to find that reassuring or foreboding. Winter's Cold has visited much earlier this year, and I heard word is going around that those strange deer originally came from the north. That left Tier Canal quieter than usual recently. Not that a few uneventful days are unwelcome. And you're always welcome to let me ramble away on these tangents. Haha, I think perhaps you indulge me too much. But come, I see you have something on your mind. Speak up. If there's anything I can help with, I'll be glad to. As if he knows of a frozen flame. Duncan's brow furrow in contemplative expectation as he invites you to speak. Told you about the old legend surrounding Kylak, right? Tell says that the flames she enkindles are as cold as winter's night. You remember how I said that the wood she burns represents the year gone by? Well, it follows that with the warmth and potential of spring and summer already spent, such fuel would burn cold. So I couldn't hazard a guess as to where one might find Kylak. Those who went up into the mountains hoping to catch a glimpse of what was written in that book came back empty-handed. You needn't look so disappointed, my young friend. I may not know, but that doesn't mean there isn't someone out there who might have a better idea. Fortunately, there's a fellow who comes to Tier Canal every now and then, an outsider, calls himself a mountain keeper. It seems his work keeps him roaming the northern mountains, where few but most adventurous or foolhardy dares to tread. I'm certain what sort of life he leads. Oh, I'm not certain what sort of life he leads, but while he's in town, he usually stocks up on foods, bandage, and other sundries. If I were to point you to anyone who can help, he'd be the man. What do you think? Not in agreement. Now just give me a moment. I got something that may prove useful. Duncan heads to his house for a few months, finally emerging with a small box in his hand. Here we are. I've been saving up a few things here and there for that sort, I know. He's rather fond of his handicraft, beads, colored glass, and the likes. It's rare to find people who wouldn't recognize you, or have at least heard of you, but the young man strikes me as a conscious sort. I think giving him something related to his interests like that will help you break the ice. So it's always easier for help from someone you're friendly terms with. Man, bro, this thing has so much dialogue. It's nothing expensive, just a sort of knick-knack, so please go on and take it. The box contains smooth glass shards and variety of colors, small silver gems, rounded pebbles, beads, and variety of other items. Nora told me that after he helped her out of something, she gave him a few materials like these, and he seemed quite happy to have them. I hope he likes what Milo collection as much as he did Nora's, except the box. A few of the small orbs in the box you received from Duncan clinks together each other with a pleasing clatter of polished stones and glass. Last I saw him, he said he was rooming in the inn for a few days. Go check there and see if you can find him. I hope you find the information you seek, but whatever you may come, know that you'll always be welcome here in Tier Canal, Ursula. With a hot meal and a soft bed as often as we can spare them. Feel free to stop by any time. As Duncan directed, head to the inn and speak with Nora. Man, this story has so much dialogue. That my throat is like so coarse right now. Way too many dialogue. I guess it's because I'm a wuss that doesn't read a lot. Because I usually read in my head whenever I'm reading books or mangas or games, really. Ursula, always good to see you around. Nora looks around you as she greets you. Did you happen to meet a man on your way here? A youthful fellow and rather easy on the eyes, a young man. Right, he seems interested in meeting you in person. I promised him I'd tell you he was looking for you the next time you were in Tier Canal, but with everything that happened recently, I'm afraid to say it's completely slipped my mind. He seems a bit disheartened when I admit my forgetfulness, but he seems it was fine, and that he lingers in the area for a while since he knew you'd be coming soon. Bit of an odd fellow, isn't he? If he wanted to meet with you, you'd think he could just send a letter like most people do. I even told him as much that if it's an urgent matter he needs your help with, the fastest way to reach you would be sending Al with a message. But he politely declined, saying that it's only proper for introduction to be made face to face. What a polite person. It's rare you meet his sort these days, no? As if this man is the Mountain Keeper. This man sounds like he may be the Mountain Keeper Duncan told you about. You asked Nora about it. Oh, you're bang on. When we first met, he introduced himself as a Mountain Keeper. He tends to keep to himself, but every now and then he tells me stories about things he's seen up in the mountain. Since you're asking, does that mean you're come looking for him? Like I said before, I'm not sure where he is at the moment, but he sometimes wanders through the village and around the outskirts hoping to find you, since no one ever really knows when or where you show up next. I wonder where he might be now. Nora ponders for a moment, ideally tapping the side of her nose with her finger. Suddenly she claps her hand together as if she just remembers something. I recall him mentioning he prefers to stay out of the sun when possible. Doesn't like being too hot, he said. You don't need an almanac to know the weather in Turkanel has been outright freezing lately. That's why my uncle and I decided to swap out the sheets and blankets in the room to help keep our guests nice and warm. Everyone else was happy to have their thicker blanket, but our mountain friend was the only one who declined, saying he was fine without. Seeing as most travelers who visit Turkanel comes through the moon gates rather than taking the old road, I start your search in the area north of the town. The icy wind is blowing from the north. Maybe our mountain keeper has blown in with it. Nora points down the road towards where Albi Dungeon and its nearby moon gates are located. I hope that at least gives you a starting point. Not in agreement. Glad to hear it. Now hurry up before you two just barely miss each other again. As Nora suggests, make your way towards the moon gate to the north of the Tier Canal. The place Nora mentioned should be around here. You look around but don't see anyone who looks like it, whatever it is you imagine a mountain keeper looking like. However, as a chill gust blows down the road, you catch a glimmer out of the corner of your eyes. This footpath doesn't see much traffic. Perhaps it's a sign of mountain keeper Nora told you about. Take a closer look. Examining anything out of place you find lying around might tell you if this is the path the mountain keeper takes into town. You decide to walk around, scanning the ground for anything useful. Examine anything you find laying on the ground. Oh, like a knick-knack. Some handicraft that appears only partially completed and rests nearby in a spread cloth, surrounded by the colorful and eye-catching bits and bobs. Unfinished thread flutters in cold winds, and the light glinting off the variety of decoration seems to follow the dance of the nearby torches. You never seen anything quite like this in Tier Canal. Perhaps it's bare to the outsiders Duncan and Nora spoke of. You look around but see no one. Even the dutiful Trefor seems to have taken a rare moment of leave. If you simply leave the things here, the nearby wildlife might grab a few of the shiny bubbles and skitter off to the lines their nest with their new find. What will you do? Keep watching it. Feel like Duncan sent us here to begin with. You worry that if a bird and fox could damage it, you might also damage it by trying to pick it up for the moment. You decide to just keep watching over it. Just as you are about to take a seat next to the untended craftwork, you hear the foot follow the path that leads into town, though you could swear no one was there a mere moment ago. Is the mountain keeper? Oh, she did say he's pleasing to the eye. Isn't he on the cover of the login screen? Pretty sure in the cover he's like holding a lantern, and Layla is like in the darkness behind the explosive vanguard and sacred guardian. A lean and reticent man stands before you. His hair is the color of unripened wheat, done up in a half-hearted braid that spills over his shoulders. With eyes of pale and mossy green, he quietly scans his surroundings. A small lantern dangles loosely from his belt. casting a golden glow that moves gently with him. Oh man, he seems sus. No, like he's sus of us. The man turns from the dirt road and draws near, looking you over. He is the owner, isn't he? Asks if the materials belongs to him. Yes, those are mine. Though I don't suppose you have any reason to take me at my word. So let me present some more compelling proof. I mean, I believe you. The young man loosened the clasp of the leather satchel on his belt, removing a few small knickknacks. Here, look at this little orb. I made it myself, so it should at least bear a respectable resemblance to the others there, despite none being perfectly alike. Oh, actually, it just occurred to me that if you harbor serious doubt about this, we could always consult an alchemist. Bro, it's not that serious. An alchemist to verify that the material's composition is close match. But fundamentally speaking, the man continues, his eyes darting around the nearby environments. Who in their right mind would tell a complete stranger that a pile of nearly worthless material was theirs? Especially in dangerous times like these, safer to just let them walk off with it. I know, that's what I said, and I'm like... Especially considering what happened here recently. How's that, enough to convince you that those things are mine, I hope? I am convinced. You doubt that anyone who wasn't the rightful owner of this assembly of bags will have launched into a multi-pronged argument to convince you of their ownership. You tell the man that you accept that he's the owner. Also, something popped up. I didn't get to read it. You do? Are you sure that was enough to say? Bro, you did so much already in that short span of time. I didn't even say anything. I was just giving it to you, honestly. But if you say so, I'll not gainsay a point in my favor. Now, if you don't mind, I have a few questions for you. You may know already, but there have been a number of unusual incidents around these parts lately. One would not be unwise to remain on their guard. After all, any number of loathsome entities are capable of hiding themselves behind such unassuming guise. In other words, before we can continue this conversation, you need to allay my fears that you're more dangerous than you seem. I am more dangerous than I seem. I'm a demigod. I also like to gather my things, but one step at a time. So are you willing to answer a few questions? Not in agreement. Thoughtfully answer the man shows him means no harm. Looks like you need to prove to a man that you don't represent a threat before he speaks with you further. You're not ready to field whatever question he might have. This area sees a surprising amount of visitors despite its remoteness, but in recent times even that has slowed to a trickle. Owing in part of the cold, no doubt, but also the incident with those strange blue deers. Now, considering that you were waiting patiently by a pile of largely worthless objects, despite that, my guess is that you came specifically to see me. Is that accurate? Yes. Why? I came to find the mountain. I heard you needed my help. See that since you were told that the person looking for you was known to come here, you figure he might be that person. I see, so you spoke with Nora then. I did have a chat with her before, and I believe I mentioned that I'd be more comfortable waiting for you to happen along than request a meeting directly. I suppose that means you really did come to Tirkanau or near enough. I am indeed the mountain keeper you seek. I still have my doubts, but based on your conversation, I feel I can at least make a small request of you. Would you step back for a moment? I'd like to retrieve my belongings. If you wouldn't mind, keeping a bit of a distance, sure. The music is also kind of beautiful. When you open enough distance between yourself and the pile of the things laying on the cloth, the mountain keeper approaches the incomplete mobile and bends down to gather the parts. With each step movement on his hand, the mountain keeper plucks the glimmering baubles and ointments from the ground, and the pile quickly disappears like a morning dew. Frankly, I was a bit bewildered that someone as famous as you would fall for this simple of a ruse. That's why I had my doubts as to where you were truly Ursulith. What ruse? People talk about you, you know. They say you're a genuine article, a true rarity in these times, someone who's willing to lend a helping hand to those in need. No matter their wealth or ranks or status, this is just what I overhear. So perhaps I didn't have the full context. Anyways, it occurred to me that if I chose unique enough items to lose, it might improve my odds of meeting you. Okay. Oh, so it was a bait. I kind of just thought he was just sitting there waiting for us, like what's it called when you use cloth and you like needle it? Sewing? Is that what's called? Like he's just there sewing, but with knickknacks, making these braided things, waiting for us. I mean, I can imagine it. At any rate, I apologize for playing on your good-hearted nature. but I figure it will be less bothersome than having a stranger simply request to meet you out of the blue. Bro, join the club, everyone does. This way I could choose the time and location without having to work it out with you in advance. Since we never met, I was the one who had a request to make. I figured it was best to be mindful about the approach I took. As for the little interrogation, I heard you help out those children who've been rendered unconscious by a strange steer, but well, I didn't see it with my own two eyes. That's why I want to confirm for myself that sort of person you are. I want to see whether you questioned me because I was a stranger who showed up, where the incident first occurred, and of course I want to assess whether you yourself truly had nothing to do with it. Basic precautions like that. However, the Mountain Keeper continues to stare at you, his wariness showing in his expression. As he casts a sidelong glance at the road heading to town, you wonder whether he simply turned and bolted. Just then you recall that you received something that might prove helpful in easing the tension. Now what is it? Box of glimmering miscellaneous. You offer him the box of glimmering that you received from Duncan. Oh, well, will you look at that? You think you see a hint of sparkles in the Mountain Keeper's eyes as his gaze falls squarely on the box in your hand. I brought something for you. You mean to entice me into a conversation? I suppose the town folks gave you that bit of advice as well. In that case, to doubt you further would be a discourtesy to them. It may have been rude to me to impose on you like that, but thank you for indulging me. No problem. I haven't finished organizing these properly. Could you wait a bit and speak with me then? The knots are in a delicate state right now. It'd be all too easy to foul them up to have to start retying them from scratch. I won't run away. You can approach me. Ooh, that was a lot. But with that, I'll probably call... Wait, hold on. Let me see how much longer is this quest. Yeah, I'll probably just call it a video. It's already like 40 minutes. 45 minutes. Anyways, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.